Yo, so guys, welcome back to another reaction. This is a reaction to Lost in the Pond, and it's 7 things America does really well. Pretty self-explanatory title, but I'm interested to get into this. He posted this yesterday, or it was like a day ago, I think, from when I'm reacting to this. But before we get into it, obviously check his video out first, give it a like and all that kind of stuff, if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, I've made a new channel. I've been saying this a lot, but I have made a new channel. Links are in the description for those interested. It's going to be content, completely different styles of content that I'm going to start in due time. I've not started the videos yet, but in due time I'm going to start sort of doing other kinds of videos on there. So if you're interested, links are there. The road to 10k, I don't know if we're going to hit 10k because that's a big ask for a channel that I've only posted one video on, but if you're interested, links are there. Also links to my Instagram, my Twitter, for those who want to follow me, as well as my Patreon. I've just posted a George Carlin reaction. Was supposed to go to YouTube, but sadly got blocked. I don't know if people watching this are watching or not, or are into those reactions that I do of him. But yeah, he's a very good comedian. I really enjoy him. So if you're interested in my reactions to him or other videos that get blocked or that you want to suggest, links are there. That was a long tangent, I'm sorry. But we're going to get into this now. Yeah, let's just check this out.
It feels like you're living the dream while also escaping.
I wonder what topics it's going to be. While also escaping the feds. What topic is that?
Hello, I'm Lawrence. I'm from Britain and I live in the United States. And
boys.
anybody that's seen my channel before will know that I absolutely love living here. Now, don't get me wrong, I do have feelings about the things that America doesn't do quite so well, just as I'm aware of Britain's shortcomings. But, I'm an optimist, and amid all of the criticisms that might be thrown at America, I often think it's important to remind myself of the things that America does well. I think amid the pandemic of the last 2 years and this sort of political division that's engulfed the country, it can be easy for us to lose sight of those details, those things that have made my stay in.
This is going to be a random question. He's lived this for like just over 10 years. How long does someone have to live in the US before they can vote, or is that possible? How long does it take to become a US citizen, I guess is the question. I'm assuming he can vote now. I don't know how that. I guess it's like maybe 5-10 years.
In the United States, and enjoyable.
I don't know though.
So I'm going to outline some of them right here, right now, so that you can share this video from now until the end of time. Here are 7 things that the United States of America does really well.
Let's get into it, baby. Pizza.
It's a little bit of a cliche because everybody loves pizza. Even back.
Although I actually wait, where's the thin crust? I think I do prefer Italian pizza, like typically Italian pizza. I just like the idea of it sort of being really crispy and thin, really thin crust. But at the same time, I know there's pizzas in the US that are like that. I think the New York pizza is literally like that. So I might just be describing the New York pizza.
In Britain, we like pizza, just not as much as we do in America. I lived in Britain for 26 years. I've lived in America for 40.
I'm not a fan of this kind of pizza though. I want it like thinner. I'm sure this is good, I'm not going to lie, but...
And I've probably had 100 times more pizzas since moving here. And on the whole, America does them really well. I'm sure the Italians won't thank me for saying that. And I'll caveat that by saying I do also love Italian pizza. I just love pizza in general. That's sort of a rule, isn't it?
I feel,
but America has many different styles. And of course, I live in Chicago, so I am living in the place where one of its most famous pizzas was born. And if I'm in the mood and I haven't eaten in 3 days, a Chicago deep dish pizza is amazing. But, and this is the reason that I don't go out onto the streets of Chicago anymore, I actually prefer the Detroit style. I know, because the thing is with Detroit style, it's like Hufflepuff. Everybody thinks they're either Gryffindor or Slytherin, but I'm a contrarian by nature, so I always like to go for the third option. For me, it's not New York style or Chicago, it's Detroit. I promise that not all of my answers are about food, but I felt like I had to include this one.
I'm hungry, so it's making me preparing me for later when I eat.
Making that decision to go to your local diner and have breakfast. For me, there's just a significant amount of warmth that comes with an American diner. It's the early morning chatter, it's the pour of the coffee, it's the omelettes and the hash browns, it's the seating booth, it's all of
that food sounds amazing.
Such a great atmosphere. And we do have, of course, cafeterias and things like that back in Britain, but we don't really have anything that's precisely the same as an American diner, which is sort of a shame because they also remind me of adventure, right? I always think of 2 film characters meeting in secret to plot the overthrow of the villain who's going to annihilate the city. And that's why I go to diners. Streets. This might seem like a
Streets.
weird answer, especially since, of course, we have streets in Britain. And to some extent, I miss the streets in Britain. You know, there's character to the winding nature of them, and you can very much get lost just looking for the post office. Here, it feels like you're less likely to do that, and the orderly side of my brain appreciates that. Streets, firstly, of course, are laid out usually in blocks, so you have kind of rectangular streets. This is very much in line with my observations of America's fascination with rectangles. But it's not just that, right? It's the things that are on the street. Those fire hydrants that you see in the movies.
The most American things you can think
of. And the
of.
house numbers seem to go on forever. It almost seemed peculiar back in Britain if the house number went into 4 digits. I don't
4
know
digits?
that I've had an American address that's had fewer than 3. Are there any Americans that live at, number 4 Washington Street? Oh, and streets as well. They're all named after presidents or places in America or types of tree. And I just love that continuity. I love saying things like, I'll meet you on the corner of Maplewood and Jefferson in 5. And there are always people walking their dogs on these streets.
Sounds
and
like a
they're usually
mission.
super polite, and they'll look you in the eye. And
Like a game mission. Those words just sound like you're on like some badass mission, man.
And they'll look you in the eye and say, good morning. It's afternoon. I really couldn't have made this list without including entertainment. I mean, obviously
Like
that's
cinema and
quite
stuff,
a broad term, but I think in general terms, very few countries do entertainment like the United States.
Bro, these are definitely a fit. These are definitely a thing that I wish we had more of. I feel like they added like the first one here during COVID. Well, not the first one, but these aren't a thing in the UK. Like outside cinemas. I don't know what's the specific word for it called. He's probably going to say it now.
Firstly, I mean, America produces so much entertainment. You could be talking about music, television, film. And in each of those, there's just such a vast array of output. Now, don't get me wrong, some of it's crap. But when they get it right, which historically has been often, you end up with The Wizard of Oz, you end up with Star Wars, you end up with the Marvel franchise, Quantum.
Wizard of Oz. Is it Wizard of the Oz? No, it's Wizard of Oz. Well, yeah, it is Wizard of Oz. That's American? I didn't know that.
I could go on. Wrestling. I thought about including this on Day
I used to love
Entertainment, but it
wrestling,
seems
man.
as though theme parks deserve their own entry.
I hate theme parks.
That was a pun
Not
on
for me,
entering
man.
a theme park. Now, over the years, Britain has had its fair share of theme parks, from Alton Towers to Flamingo Land to the M25, but America just has more of them. And of course, I think everybody knows about Disneyland and Disney World and Universal Studios and all of that. But after moving here, I realized, much to my intense happiness, that theme parks aren't just reserved for Florida and California, but can actually be found in many states. I think the first one I went to was Kings Island, just outside of Cincinnati. And I also went to Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana, and yes, that's a real place. And the strange thing is, I didn't go on many of the roller coasters because I have this overwhelming feeling that we're going to crash. So you might be thinking, what do you even get out of theme parks? And to me, it's the atmosphere. It's the balloons. It's the movie scores that play throughout the entire place. It's the hot summer days. It's the interns dressed in Yogi Bear costumes.
Nice sort of energy.
That must be hell in July. But for the rest of us, it's great to meet Yogi and friends.
Yeah, dressing up like crazy, like in some big ass furry thing. Must be terrible in summer, man. I hope they get paid good money.
People who watch this channel regularly know that I absolutely love parks, partly for the opposite reason that I love theme parks, which now that I've said that out loud, I've just realised that theme parks are themselves parks. Anyway, the point is, it's the relative absence of people that makes them so enjoyable. This was even the case for me when I lived in Britain, where we have a boatload of parks, some of which have boats. But just like with theme parks, America has way more of them, and some of them are absolutely massive. There's one in Alaska that is larger than Northern Ireland and Wales combined.
That's
in
pretty
fact,
nuts.
back in the day, I did a video about US national parks that absolutely dwarf their UK equivalents. I'll link to that at the end of this video. And there's sort of a hierarchy of parks here as well. You've got the sort of local municipal parks, you've got state parks, you've got national parks. Spoil for choice because the United States is made up of a very diverse terrain. So you've got the hot springs at Yellowstone National Park, you've got the tree-laden mountains of Great Smoky Mountains National Park, you've got the Grand Canyon and just 100 million other places.
It's still crazy to me how the Grand Canyon's a park.
That is an exaggeration. But there's a lot of them. And of course, you could fly to these places, although not directly. You'd have to go to an airport.
The US is a place for road trips. Like road trips in the UK, they're not really going to be that fun. But in the US, they're so I guess road trips anywhere are going to be boring at parts because it's so big and so diverse. And obviously the road trips here will be so long. Like they'll be for like weeks upon end. And I know it's a really big thing in the US to go on road trips. Like in the UK, it just isn't a thing because it's just it's not really worth it. And again, in the US, you've got so many different things you can do in different states. Like within 3 hours, you're like in the mountains, or you're like, I don't know, you're just somewhere different. Here, you're like you're where I am now, which is lowland, just grass, and then 3 hours away, you've got Birmingham. But before Birmingham, I don't know what there is, just grass. It's just the same, man. So yeah, I guess it makes sense why it is a thing in the US, and I know it is a big thing.
But
man.
really, let's be honest, does that beat a good old American road trip? I don't think so. I love the open road in the US, and some of that comes from the movies. Again, it's just like with the diner. It feels like you're living the dream while also escaping the feds. And you just stick on Billy Joel or something cool, you wind down the window and you just hit the gas, man. Not the gas man, you hit the gas, comma, man. It's amazing. And that open road, of course, really is open and long, with some highways spanning the entire country. And you see things on these journeys that you don't see from the air, and you certainly wouldn't see in Britain, like quirky roadside attractions.
Look at that shit. Come on. You know the vibes. And he's got the United shirt on too. Come on.
When you're on a historic route, or the terrain that I just spoke about. And taking road trips in Britain was never quite the same thing, because firstly, the country is nowhere near as big. And secondly, in the UK, you can get to most towns and cities by train, which is equally adventurous. But you can't really do that for the most part in America, because there isn't high-speed rail. That's an example of something it doesn't do too well. So I've learned to embrace one of the things that it does, and that's road trips. That is it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below.
There we go. I enjoyed this one a lot. I like just seeing these sort of, these sort of opinions from someone who has moved from somewhere else to this country. I guess from Britain to the US, to giving his point of views. It's interesting to see, because obviously he's maybe comparing this to his past experiences to living somewhere else. So it is interesting to see that, to see this sort of video. I like this sort of stuff. Oh, my indigestion. Whew. It's nice to hear some things that we do well here from someone with a broader perspective. I often enjoy your videos. I think something else America does well is attract smart, deep thinking and entertaining people to come live here. Yeah, that's a fair point. Making us much better for it. Yeah, that's a fair point. It's sort of an attractive place for someone who's got some sort of business or just some sort of job that the US just offers a better sort of opportunity for. As much as America sometimes drives me nuts, I must admit, you can find just about anything. I'd list them, but you already did a wonderful job. See, with UK, what makes me happy about it is just, I don't even know, just the football. I mean, I'm happy here. I'm not going to pretend I'm not, but I don't even know what I'm saying. Like, I'm just sort of thinking of things like the UK does well, or England does well. I'm going to say England does well. Definitely not the football. That's for sure. I guess it's just like the UK. I'm going to say UK. The UK is just average at everything. Like, and obviously there's some things that they are better here. Like, I don't know what examples I can think of, but everything is just sort of average here. Whether it's the weather, whether it's the way of life, just everything. Now, the way of life is definitely more than average. I don't know what I'm saying. Just forget this whole ending of the video. But hopefully you did enjoy this reaction. More of Lost in the Pond on the way if you want me to react to him. Suggest what other videos you want me to see, or other videos from other channels. But yeah, until next time, like, subscribe, and peace.